happy place for the last 48 hours. I did manage to do a video post from the beautiful wooded grove that I can actually see right outside my window here yesterday. But today, I'm back in chill mode. I've had it, as I sort of might have expected I would, had a really cool day. I went downstairs to have lunch. We have lunch at 11:30 here, which is like, I'm lucky to have had breakfast by that time in my normal life. But I went down to have lunch and ended up chatting with some folks. I've had, at this point, 4 or 5 connections with people who are either super interested in music and want to just ask questions about it, want to actually study music and have taken my name and number because they might possibly want to take lessons, just are otherwise creatively involved in working, whether it's usually somewhat musical or entirely other field, but have a lot of creative resonance and just want to like chat about making stuff. It's been amazing. It's been such an amazing thing to come across people who, for whatever reason, we're all trapped in this, context. All of us sort of receiving a slow motion kick to the balls over the last 48 hours. It's a little bit what recovery feels like. And just sort of thrown together for a couple days to have meals together, take some walks together, gingerly walk down the hallway together. It's an interesting kind of community that forms, and it's kind of remarkable. I feel like I've met some people that I might very well stay in touch with, and it keeps emphasizing to me or reiterating to me how, a little bit like what I said, I think yesterday, how much an environment like this, a healing environment, which clearly this is, it manages to be both a hospital and a healing environment, which is no mean feat for a place to pull off. To have a really healing vibe, a really settled energy. Just, this is a hospital that's been around since 1945. It opened, doing exclusively hernia surgeries. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it's still run by one of the Shouldice great grandkids at this point. It's run by, so I believe it's still run by the family. Named after the man who invented the technique that they still use. I believe the technique has evolved some over the last 70 years, but it's still almost 80 years. But he invented it. He invented it during World War II, apparently. So anyway, I'm going on and on about the place, but the environment just has set me up. I was just downstairs, just on a tear about music and about vibration and about what learning music does for your brain and about what a mindfulness approach to music offers, and talking to people who are interested in that, people who want to engage with that. I was like, at one point I was like, is this like, what, it didn't feel weird. It just felt like unusual that I would be given a kind of a platform or an opportunity for conversation to go so deep and so enthusiastically into something that if you just get me started, I will nerd out about it for as long as there's someone there to listen. And the other thing I noticed which I took as a good sign, is that I had the energy to do that. Because yesterday, I moved around a lot physically, but I noticed my energy flagging. I noticed that I often wanted to just come back and lay down, not do very much. And today, I was down there and I was like bursting with energy. It was like it just wanted to come out of me. So it showed up as a sign that I must be moving to the next level. I also had the rest of my clips out today. My cut now just has basically a glorified Band-Aid on it. So I'm feeling pretty good. I can tell I'm coming through this, and I can tell that this opportunity, I've gone deep here. I'll show you the book. This is the book. I'm more than halfway through it now, sort of in the back, almost in the back third, I'd say. And I've really kind of devoted myself to it during this time, and it's been appropriate. It's been the right way to use my time. It's been hard not to just watch one movie after the next. I've done a pretty good job so far of rationing my media intake and really putting my focus on this book, because the way in which I'm getting a picture of how I might restructure my entire approach to practicing with Annalise, it's going to be one brick at a time. I'm going to have to go back. Like, as soon as I'm done with, I've already got notes coming out, like they're overflowing my iPhone, and I'm going to have to go back to the beginning and just kind of reread this thing. But I'm so grateful that somebody has created a document of this level of thoughtfulness and depth and clarity regarding how to practice with a kid. It's a process. When I began this process with my daughter, it became instantly clear to me that this is a deep, deep well. This is a huge territory of life. The way in which we sit with our child and help them learn, but don't necessarily teach them, although I also do some teaching, but really also what I'm learning is I should probably do less teaching and a little more managing her learning of things that are coming from her teacher. Anyway, it's way too much for me to summarize quickly, but between my own being plunged into a kind of state of this, just having to be still, just needing to rest, needing to be settled, and the vulnerability that comes with the surgery, what your body just feels, it has been literally violated, not in a bad way, but in a way that it is undeniable. There's been trauma. Having to heal from that puts me into a state where I resonate very, very palpably with all of the subtle kind of emotional stuff that Edmund Sprunger is pointing out about the way we affect kids when we talk to them, the things we say, little subtle ways that you can just kind of be. I think I notice myself doing this. I notice other parents doing this. You can kind of like solicit your child's agreement to something when you're not really giving them a choice, right? I want my daughter to want to do what I want her to do. I want her to want to do what I want her to do. So I say things and do things to try and establish that or encourage that or avail her, make that available to her. But really, it's just manipulation. And it would be more kind-hearted to simply make a demand, make a clear, appropriate demand. So I'm not gonna spiral into too much detail there, but it's been, I think the thing that I'm tracking today, which is similar to what I've tracked the last couple of days, but it's coming through even more, is the way in which my state of being present, being kind of vulnerable, being kind of in a soft place of my own, needing to kind of bring my energy inward, and then at the same time ingesting some really smart content about how kids, which are very vulnerable very sensitive, vulnerable beings, how they take in the energy and the information that we give them. I feel like I've used my time well, because it's definitely having an impact. And we'll see. I look forward to who I am when I get home, and I can start to put some of this stuff into action. So that's where I am today, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.